Now let's get into weekly comic book reviews. All right, so this is what we're talking about today. Just give you guys a rundown, okay? Batman Deadpool, we're talking about the DC side of this crossover, which I thought was way better than Marvel's attempt at the crossover. So we'll get into that. We got some Captain America as well. Been loving this series. Even though I don't pull a ton of Marvel, the Marvel I pull is really good, dude. So Captain America, we're also going to review Everything Dead and Dying. The Ultimates 18, which is a really good issue. The conclusion to New Gods. Rom B's New Gods series finally ended. Sad days. News from the Fallout, a nice, quick Image comic series. This was the conclusion of that as well. We got G.I. Joe, issue 14, the Dreadnought War Part 2. So we're going to be reviewing that. Absolute Flash number 9, which I know a lot of people have dropped, but I think is really stepping it up. Issue number 9 really surprised me. So that's been a series that has been hit or miss for some, but I've been liking it. Exquisite Corpses number 7. I might be coming to an end on this one. I got to look it up. I'm not sure, but it's been good. James Tynion the fourth. And then we're going to finish it off by talking about Nightwing number 132. Nightwing's been great, dude. If you guys haven't been reading Dan Waters and Dexter Soy's Nightwing run, missing out, dude. But let's start off with Batman Deadpool number 1. Won't get too into it, man. But I thought this was a really great issue. The Batman and Deadpool crossover, this one worked a lot better than the last one did for me. Probably with that Grant Morrison writing, you know what I mean? We got that Dan Mora artwork, so it looks great. And then it sounds great too with the Grant Morrison writing. Kind of like, timey-wimey, a little bit confusing in some places, maybe a little bit. Hopefully get some light on there. What's going on with the lighting, dude? You know, it's tough doing this kind of stuff when you live in Maine, daylight savings time and all that, dude. It's getting dark. I don't know how to light anything. All right, that's the best it's going to be for now. But yeah, so the first story was really good. Just Batman and Deadpool goofing around, teaming up. We get some great moments like what is his name? Dark Claw coming back, right? The old Amalgam comics. We got a comment from Seth the Tech real quick. He says, in Absolute Flash, I've been hearing that Barry could be the main villain. Do you think Barry Allen should be the villain? It's kind of setting it up like that. I don't know if you guys have been reading that Absolute Flash series, but Barry's like stuck in time. He's like stuck in the Speed Force or something. So I don't know if he'll be the villain necessarily, but I could see that happening. Barry being Wally's reverse Flash. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty compelling. That's pretty sad, dude. So yeah, that might be the way they're going. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but I can see them setting that up. Anyways, this was a great issue. This was a great story. I like the way that it ended. Kind of ended in a little hopeful note. I got Batman saying happy holidays, dude. So yeah, and then we get into the John Constantine Doctor Strange story. Insane stuff. This is like one of my favorites from the whole crossover event. Just look at this paneling from Hayden Sherman. Hayden Sherman is just one of the best artists in the game, whereas other artists, I mean, this would be a square, this would be a tiny square, this would be another square. You know what I mean? Hayden Sherman, the whole thing's like flowing, dude. Like, he's using people's capes and stuff as kind of the framing device for the panel. Like over here, like what's going on? You got like this tiny middle interstitial panel. He's just doing it like no one else is doing it, man. So Hayden Sherman killed this story. Excellent on the artwork. We get some, Swamp Thing versus, oh my gosh, dude. I'm just like, the paneling is just so sick, dude. Like, look at these circles. Hayden Sherman's got the protractor out. You know what I mean? Hayden Sherman got good grades in geometry for sure. But yeah, this Doctor Strange Constantine story was really good. Not like the longest thing in the world, but I like their kind of back and forth, their kind of different philosophies. And yeah, I think that the artwork especially was really good. Then we get into the Laura Kinney Wolverine and the Nightwing story. So sick, dude. This was one that you definitely want to see like a full mini on, like they have such good rapport with each other. Just like Laura Kinney's focus on family. The entire story is Nightwing, Laura Kinney going after Laura Kinney's sister, trying to save him from Killer Croc. Nice, simple story, but with that Bruno Redondo artwork, Tom Taylor, he's back writing Nightwing. It was a lot of fun, dude. It was a lot of fun, especially kind of them both being like heroes that are kind of in the legacies of like these larger heroes and kind of what that means. I thought it was a fun story. The weak point of the issue was probably Harley Quinn and Hulk. Not like the most offensive story of all time. Like, I thought the art was pretty good. I'm not like the biggest fan of, I think it's Amanda Connor's, not a biggest fan of Amanda Connor's style, but that was a pretty fun story, I guess. I really can't picture in my mind like the Hulk and Harley Quinn crossing over. Okay, here we go. Of the two, which do you like more of the new DC Marvel comics? So Set the Tech, that is a question that I'll be answering on my Wednesday video. I think I'll do like a whole 8-minute thing where I review both and kind of compare and contrast them. Kind of answering the overall question, like, was the Marvel DC crossover, like, was it successful in 2026? Like, should they do more crossovers every year, or is it kind of just like they kind of landed and they didn't hit? But yeah, we'll be answering that question on Wednesday. But I'll tell you right now, I think that DC did the better of the crossover for sure. Better covers, right? Better covers, better stories, writers, artists that are attached. I think that DC really kind of won. If there is like a war to be won between the two or a battle or whatever, DC definitely won this one. And then real quickly, the Static Shock Kamala Khan story, that was really fun too. Kind of like these two younger heroes, the next generation. I like the way that one ended as well. And then it was kind of over. So overall, I think that yeah, this was a great issue. I think that it was worth the money. I know a lot of people were saying that the high price tag, $7.99. I think what you're getting with some really good stuff. You're getting Dan Mora, Grant Morrison, right? Like you're getting Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo. You're getting Hayden Sherman, James Tynion the fourth, and all the other writers attached to that one. So I think it's worth it. If 3 out of 4 of the stories bang, I think it's worth it, dude. But let's move along. Captain America #5. We'll get through these comic reviews pretty quickly so we can get to the DC solicitations for February 2026. But of course, got to talk some Captain America first. This is a great issue. I think this concludes the first arc, if I'm not mistaken. Our Secret Wars Part 6. But yeah, it's still got Captain America. He's in Latveria, still trying to help him out. The last issue had a big battle between Doctor Doom and Captain America in the center of town. So everybody in Latveria saw it, kind of like the different ideals, America, freedom versus Latveria, Doctor Doom kind of ruling with an iron fist. And then this is kind of the fallout of that. And Captain America, he's got to go save this David dude because David dude has been Captain America since Captain America's in the ice. And this David dude is turning into U.S. agent, bro. He's going crazy. He's just killing all sort. He's just going nuts in Latveria. He's kind of broken potentially, finally, right? So his mind might have been broken. Captain America's got to go in and try to save him. And yeah, it's really sad because obviously David is someone who looked up to Captain America growing up. He's why he joined the service because of Captain America, just inspired by him. And just to see this kind of moral conflict with David, bits with his mom too, which I thought was really, really compelling, where it's like David going home and from the first time right here where he's kind of talking to his mom and his mom's, yeah, they're just going back and forth. He's like, like maybe that pain is all I have now, bro. And like you just see him in his mom's arms just crying, right? So this has been really, really good. Chip Zdarsky has a knack, like he's writing Cap so good, just very, very compelling stuff. And my parents are retired Air Force, so they, this story is hitting a lot harder, I guess. Like the idea of service and like serving your country. Is America really the bad guy? What is America's place in the world stage and all that stuff? A lot of questions being asked, man. So Captain America continues to be amazing. Chip Zdarsky's just killing it. Backing up, answering some questions here. Meyer HQ, what's up, Meyer? He says, when he said, I don't know what that is when it came to CPR, I was like, whoa. Yeah, that's a good point too. So back in the day when Captain America in like World War II, right? They didn't have CPR. So when David's like, yo, or I forgot who asked him, like, do you know CPR? Captain America's like, what's that, dude? So he wasn't able to help him. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. Just a man at a time, right? That's Captain America. So Family TCGs, he says, what would Marvel have to do to get you to start pulling them again? I haven't really read any Marvel, so can't speak to the quality. The thing with Marvel right now, it's just like all like this is like a long discussion, so I'll just like scratch the surface, I guess. But it's like the way I feel about Marvel, like it's mostly symbiote stuff, right? Like I'm not into the X-Men, so I'm not like an X-Men reader. I haven't gone back and read a bunch of X-Men, so that cuts out like half of Marvel's like what they put out, right? If you're not an X-Men reader. And yeah, so I just go through their solicits and I'm like, nothing's interesting me. Like that new Iron Man series next year with Josh Williamson writing. That one I might, but even then, Iron Man's not a character I care about, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's tough, dude. It's tough pulling some Marvel. Are you covering Saga by Brian K. Vaughan? Not right now. So the thing with Saga is I've been pulling it in singles. Wait, it must be on a hiatus. I haven't pulled it in a really long time, but I'm pulling it in singles. I read the first half, and then when it came back from its really long hiatus, my plan was to read everything when it's finished, right? So it'll be a while before I get back to Saga. Obviously, one of the most legendary stories of all time. And yeah, dude, let's talk about Everything Dead and Dying. Issue 3 was excellent. So if you're not familiar with this story, it's a zombie story, but the one guy can't get infected by zombies. For some reason, zombies are not interested in eating him. And so he's been kind of keeping his town going. He's been like feeding all the zombies in his town, all the people he used to know that turned into zombies, and he's keeping the town going. And he's been doing that for like 11 years. So he has a daughter that has since been turned into a zombie, but he doesn't want to kill his daughter, right? He still thinks that his daughter's in there. So this group of humans roll up and they just start blasting all the zombies. So our main dude, he's like pissed about it, right? So he's like trying to kill the humans who are trying to kill all the zombies. Very interesting kind of twist on the zombie story, right? So if you're into Walking Dead and stuff like that, definitely check out Everything Dead and Dying. But this one has like a more of an emotional kind of gut punch. The fact that he is trying to take care of his zombie daughter, right? So it's like it's kind of this like push and pull, this tug that I find really interesting. So Tate Bromble, he's killing it. Jacob Phillips on the art. If you guys know Sean Phillips and Ed Brubaker, they're collaborative duo, legendary. Jacob Phillips is Sean Phillips' son, so he takes right after his dad. He's got kind of his dad's sort of eye for like action and stuff like that, but kind of follows that same sort of style. But yeah, man, I think Jacob Phillips is just one of the best artists in the game right now. Bromble is really surprising me as a writer. You got to check out Everything Dead and Dying. Really good zombie comic, for sure. Moving along, we got Ultimates 18. Wow, listen. Wait, hold on. Backing it up. That the text said this one sounds a lot like The Last of Us. Very much so. I guess some Last of Us vibes for sure. Kind of like the fatherhood kind of themes, right, that you get in The Last of Us. And the fact that it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic for sure. Ultimates 18, dude. Wow. Dennis Camp is really killing it with the series. We know that the maker is almost out of his jail, right? He's been in there for 2 years, and the Ultimates have been preparing for this whole time for the maker to get released. This issue was kind of just like an overview of kind of what a bunch of the Ultimates are doing right now. As we see, like, we get like updates on everybody, right? So Dennis Camp just filling us in. Luke Cage is still freeing everybody in prison across the US. Like we got Hawkeye, he's going on some missions. We got this version of America Chavez going on missions too. So yeah, it's just kind of like an update. We got Thor and Sif, they're still fighting off stuff in Asgard, doing stuff in the Nine Realms or whatever. We got this version of She-Hulk. She's busting ass, dude. And we know that technically one of the Ultimates is a rat. I guess I won't spoil it if you guys didn't catch that when we found that out a little bit ago. But yeah, so they've been feeding information to this version of Nick Fury, as we see here, and he's a bad guy. He's working for the Hand, part of the Maker's Council, right? So a lot of moving parts in this Ultimate series, but I think it's really good. And just kind of the overall message of this one, very inspiring, right? It's Tony, this version of Tony Stark, Iron Lad, and he's just talking about the state of the world. And he's like, hey, this isn't the world you're supposed to have. You can help us and you can fight back against the Maker. There's a many different ways you can fight back, right? It's not just like if you go to work, maybe just don't go to work, right? And that's like a step towards fighting the Maker, stuff like that. So very inspiring issue. Just getting a look at all the corners of the Ultimate Universe as we see Black Panther. We got the X-Men group over in Japan, right? So yeah, really, really good issue of the Ultimates. I'm liking it. And man, when this series is over and the whole Ultimate Universe is over, I don't know, dude. I'm gonna be pulling like 3 Marvel series. Guys, we gotta talk about the conclusion to the New Gods. Listen, dude. If you've never read a New Gods series, you gotta get the first trade and you gotta catch up on this one. I thought Ron V concluded it. It's so beautiful. Look at Evan Cagle's artwork, right? So the entire story is about Orion and Mr. Miracle. At this point, they're trying to save this kid because this kid is like the next generation of the New Gods. He's super powerful, but the Desaad and Maxwell Lord or whatever, they're trying to use this kid for evil. They're trying to use the kid to bring back Darkseid. That's kind of their ultimate goal. So it kind of ties into what's going on with the overall DC net meta narrative, right? But yeah, so we got these kid Orion. He's remembering back in the day, a couple issues ago, when he's sitting next to the kid. He's like, "Hey, kid, you don't have to be like this, man." And the kid accidentally shoots Orion, shoots through him or whatever. So yeah, listen, Evan Cagle on the artwork. It's some epic, epic stuff. I thought it was epic all throughout. Saad has captured himself inside this like tomb thing, and he's torturing himself, and it's hurting Mr. Miracle. But Mr. Miracle gets out of it, dude, because he always gets out of it, right? He's Mr. Miracle, and they save the day. Back on Earth, we got the Justice League is teaming up with some other members of the New Gods, as we see the biggest Barda of all time kind of stomping down. And yeah, dude, I just thought that they concluded this really, really well. Not to spoil the kind of ending here, but they say that the New Gods may return. So we're really, guys, we're really hoping that Ram V comes back to the New Gods He gets his buddy Evan Cagle, and they just continue, dude. Give him an ongoing for the love of God, bro. Please. Excellent stuff. That New God series was really good. Maybe in the middle, they kind of like juked me out. I was like, where is this going? And then they come back and just conclude it really well. So yeah, dude, New Gods is sick. Chris Gonzalez says loved Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips collabs since Fatale. They're goaded, dude. Fatale is so good. Fatale is like one of my that's on my Image comic like Mount Rushmore for sure. Fatale is excellent, dude. So yeah, love Fatale. Let's talk about news from the Fallout. So this series is a lot. It's another zombie apocalypse sort of story, but it's all about. If you guys are looking at the art style, very unique from Jeffrey Allen Love. Comic books don't look like this, bro. It's really cool. Kind of the interesting part about Jeffrey Allen Love is he's got this unique style, but like you can tell who this is. Like if you've been reading this series all throughout, you can tell who that is. What's another good example? This guy here. You know this guy because he's always got the pipe, right? So it's just kind of like this really smart visual language that Jeffrey Allen Love does, where you can just tell who everybody is, even though there's no detail. It's very kind of stark in the detail, right? But this is a zombie apocalypse story. It's all about this dude. He's been running since the start. He was there when the bombs dropped, when the military dropped the bomb. But it turns out that that wasn't a regular bomb. It was a bomb that turns people into kind of like these zombie horrific creatures. And he's just trying to escape, man. That's really been the story of it. But I love the way that this one concluded. Him in the radio tower making the final message. And yeah, it kind of leaves off on like I really wonder what's going to happen to the world after it seems like the whole zombie apocalypse is going to take over kind of thing, right? So listen, Chris Condon, he's a comic book writer who's just killing it. Jeffrey Allen Love, really unique with the artwork. I'll have to be on the lookout for the next Jeffrey Allen Love project. But when this series is out in a trade, man, I really think it's one to get. Nice little short zombie apocalypse sci-fi story. Old timey, takes place in like the 60s. It gave me Twilight Zone vibes all throughout. So if you guys are into a Twilight Zone or shows like that, definitely check it out. A couple more issues here, guys. We also got a question from Seth the Tech. He says, would I recommend New Gods for new readers? Also, is there a comic you would want to see in a movie for TV show or an animated project? So your first question, would I recommend New Gods to a new reader? Absolutely, dude. I don't think you'll be lost at all. I think that Ron V does a great job of kind of setting up who the New Gods are and gives them like new enemies and stuff like that. So you don't need to know like all the New God history from the back in the day, right? Like you can jump in with issue 1 and be just fine. He kind of sets it up. It's like the new generation of New Gods is like coming, right? So it doesn't really rely on so much of the older stuff. It's kind of like New Gods for a new age kind of thing, which is why I thought it was so impressive. So yeah. And then for your second question, a comic book that I would want to see in a movie or TV show / animated project, I think would be cool. And we'll get to it in a comic book review in a little bit. Exquisite Corpses #7. I think that would be a really sick, a kind of like animated show. I think that could really bang. Kind of like a battle royale sort of thing. There's a lot of comics that I think could make for good animated specifically. I think animated is like a really way to translate kind of like your comic book work into a kind of like adapt it easier. If you have a really cool like animated style, I think it could really be cool. Anyways, let's talk about G.I. Joe #14. I just read this before I started this live, dude, and I was really loving it. It's got some Mad Max sort of vibes. It's got Cobra Commander and Duke. They've got to team up because the Dreadnoks, they're trying to backstab Cobra Commander and kill him when none of the other Cobras are near. Kind of like, yeah, just backstabbing him. They're working with Destro to kind of supplant. Is that the word? Surplant or supplant? Let me know in the comments if you know that word. Trying to take over. Destro's trying to be the leader of the Cobra Commander. He's trying to take his place, so he's trying to get him killed. And Duke and Cobra Commander got to work together. It's just an insane kind of Mad Max sort of inspired issue. The entire thing was just action all throughout. And yeah, dude, you got these like aura moments with Cobra Commander just standing there with a gun. You get some like, oh, let me show you the one page that really kind of blew my mind. So right here, right, you got Cobra Commander and Duke. They're jumping out of the car, and each of them, each page is kind of like this is Duke, what he's doing on this side, and this is Cobra Commander, what he's doing on this side. So this page like really kind of was sick. And I love when comic books do really cool comic book things. Like you can't really, how do you translate this to the screen, right? Like you can only really do it in a comic book. So the stuff like that I really love. Okay, we got Vactor coming in with Supplant. Dude, thank you, Vactor. I used it correctly then, I think. taking a place. Yeah, so Destro wants to supplant Cobra Commander and take his place. Let's see. We got Vactor again. He says, when my boy Cody talks, I listen, dude. What's up, Vactor? Appreciate you, man. Backing it up. We got Omega Slice. Knights is getting animated only after like 14 issues. Knights is really good. I've only read the first trade. I got to get that in trades maybe. I read it digitally through my library, but I really like Knights. That was really cool. So, and then Frank says, Supplant sounds right, dude. Thanks for the assist, Frank, dude. Surplant. Okay, so it's not Surplant. Surplant is a rare or archaic corruption of Supplant that is generally not used. Okay. All right, dude. So we got Supplant, dude. But anyways, like we were saying, G.I. Joe is sick, dude. If you guys aren't reading G.I. Joe, it's far and away my favorite corner of the Energon universe. I know some people like the Robert Kirkman out in space. You got Void Rivals. That's cool, right? You got the Transformers stuff. Danny Warren Johnson was doing great stuff. Obviously, now we got a new creative team on that. But for the longest time, dude, the minis, right? Like you got Duke, you got Cobra Commander, you got the Destro series, you got Scarlet, and then just the awesome ongoing. It's been really great. So yeah, dude, G.I. Joe's been sick. This issue was sick. It's really cool to see G.I. Joe and Duke working together. Common enemy, my enemy is my friend, maybe. Should I show you guys this one issue? It's kind of a spoiler, so I guess I won't. But something happens to Cobra Commander where I'm like, bro, is that guy going to be alive in the next issue, dude? We'll have to see. G.I. Joe is sick. Let's talk about Absolute Flash, dude. This was the best issue of the series. Well, it's like up there. It's like one of the 2 or 3 best issues of the series. We get Nick Robles back in the art. I think he's got a great eye for Flash and kind of this Wally West character. This is really interesting because Wally is teaming up with the Rogues. He's teaming up with his own Rogues to save his father from the like ultimate villain in the story. This lady here, Thawne, I believe, Dr. Thawne. So yeah, Dr. Thawne had kidnapped Wally's dad. So Wally has to work with Gorilla Grodd and the rest of the Rogues to go get the dad. That's just sick, dude. I love that, man. So Jeff Lemire, it's like you're finally getting there, but everybody's dropped the series by now, dude. So it's kind of sad. But I'm sticking around, Jeff. I'm here, man. So yeah, we got the Rogues coming in with the Flash. Something goes wrong, but I do want to mention, right? You get this moment. You got Wally. He's seeing him in the past. He's seeing himself in the future, like by a couple seconds, right? So we're getting this like little flavors of Wally being able to time travel and having that ability. Stuff with the Speed Force, right? So there's always Flash shenanigans going on. So we're finally getting little tastes of that. As you see here, it's kind of driving Wally mad, but then he has a mind meld moment with Grodd. I love this relationship. If you guys want to know the truth, this is why I'm sticking around, guys. This is why I'm keep pulling the series. We got Wally and Grodd. It's just so sick, dude. Okay, so they're just buddies. I'm loving it. Absolute Flash. We'll have to see if he can save his dad in the next issue. Keep reading to find out, dude. Let's talk Exquisite Corpses number 7. This one was very action-packed. We got the Fox Mask Killer going up against the Golden Face, like main dude from the first issue. Backing it up. If you guys don't know Exquisite Corpses, it is a battle royale series. It's a bunch of killers. It started out with 12, I believe, all in a small town in Maine. And if they win the battle royale tournament, the person that sponsors them, like the super rich billionaire family, these are all the families here, they're sponsoring the killers. If your killer wins, you get to be the president or the king of the US for 5 years or whatever it is. It's kind of like the secret organization that's like running the United States, right? Like the president's not really the president. He listens to what we say. We're the real rich people. So there's like this conspiracy angle to it, but then it's just action all throughout. It's a great kind of horror, like slasher sort of series. And yeah, Exquisite Corpses has been really good. This is the battle with the Fox Mask Killer and the Goldface kind of soldier dude. But all throughout, in between all these killers, the story focuses on some of the humans that are kind of caught in the crossfire. They don't know what the heck's going on. Why are all these killers coming to our small town in Maine? They've cut all the phone lines. Like we can't leave. Like they set barricades and blocking out the entire town so no one can go in or out. And yeah, it's just like a bunch of rich people just killing for sport and trying to win like this evil, sadistic kind of battle royale tournament. Dude, if you haven't been reading Exquisite Corpses, it's been really good. The artwork is really sick from Michael Walsh and Claire Rowe. And yeah, it's been a strong showing from Michael Walsh as a writer. We know that he did that Frankenstein series and he did good with that too. So yeah, it's just filled with a ton of great creative talent. James Tynion IV, Michael Walsh, Jordi Belair on the colors, right? So yeah, you guys got to be reading Exquisite Corpses. I think trade number 1 is out. And yeah, been really great series from Image Comics this year. Backing it up a little bit. Family TCGs, he says, shout out Gorilla Grodd, the biggest boy, dude. I love this version of Gorilla Grodd. It's so cute. Chewy Queso says, who would I like to replace Dexter Soy on Nightwing? No one? No one? What? Is that something people want, dude? I think Dexter Soy is killing it, bro. And let's review it. Let's talk about it, dude, because this is sick. Okay, so check this out, right? Look at this. What do you mean? What the hell do you mean someone replaced Dexter Soy at Nightwing, bro? This is sick. He's coming in. He's smashing through the window. Look where he lands, bro. Dexter Soy is killing this series, man. So I don't agree. I think Dexter Soy is killing it. Is there like, do people want him to leave, dude? I've never heard that. Meyer HQ says my favorite indie book. It just feels oddly paced. You think so for Exquisite Corpses? It's interesting because like they have a lot of moving pieces, right? Like there's a ton of characters that they're trying to balance. So yeah, weird paced. Yeah, I could see that a little bit. You know, like every issue you're getting everybody's story just like a little bit, right? But there's so much to cover, right? So there's a lot of moving parts. Kind of hard to balance it. I could see that though, it being oddly paced. He's off the title, dude. Are you joking me, dude? Oh my God. Chewy Queso said Dexter Soy is off the title. With this one? Okay, he says Dexter Soy got 3 issues left. That's something that's happening. Dexter Soy got 3 issues left. Dude, and Frank also coming in. I'm pissed, dude. I'm actually pissed. God damn it. Listen, I was saying it, and you guys might have heard it on my last live. I was saying that Dexter Soy and Dan Waters, I was liking it maybe more than Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, bro. Is that a hot take? And now Dexter Soy's leaving, man? God damn it. Listen, we just gotta hope that Dexter Soy, he stays in DC. Do something in DC, man, all right? Do an absolute title, all right, Dexter? I think you got a great eye for action, and it's just sick, man. Oh my God, Chewy, this is bad news, dude. This is bad news, guys. All right, Set the Tech coming in with a nice question. Says, I'm a comic book fan. Started this year. Do I think trade paperbacks and hardcovers and omnibuses will be a better way than reading single issues? That's the ultimate question, dude. That's something that every comic book reader has got to find out for themselves, dude. Let me show you. I found a nice way to balance it. I have a ton of collected editions. I read a bunch of them every single month, but then also I still find a way to stay up to date on single issues. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. Okay, here's what I would say. If I didn't do content, like if I didn't do comic book content, I probably wouldn't pull so much, right? But I'd be reading DC Universe Infinite a lot. I still do, but I would read even more. I'd read a ton of more stuff through my library. I'd be mostly a digital reader for new single issues, but then collected editions. I'm never gonna not buy collected editions, dude. That's like my ultimate favorite. So yeah. I don't know if that answers your question. Let's see. Backing it up. Bring back Bruno. So you know that's not a bad idea. It's not that I dislike Bruno, right? It's just that I like the darker tone that Dexter Soy brings. Like, dude, you're in Bloodhaven, bro. You're in Bloodhaven, right? So Bloodhaven to me has never been like a bright, shiny city. Like, it's cool to see Nightwing doing stuff in the day, man, but I like this darker tone, bro. I like this darker tone for Nightwing. It's kind of like he's the bright spot in this kind of dark universe. I don't need the entire comic book to be bright and hopeful and uplifting, right? Nightwing is that himself. So I don't know. Does that make sense? Anyways, Zect Trooper says not a hot take. Appreciate that. And then Meyer coming in with a rumor. Jonathan Hickman's coming into DC to write The Flash after DCKO with Dan Mora. Dan Mora also said in 2026 he's focused on one big title. Wow. 2 things there. That would be kind of crazy if Dan Mora, he is attached to so many titles. If he wants to just focus on one, that could be really interesting. It is kind of a loss to see him not working on everything else, but I get it. He's got to give the man a break, dude. He's been grinding for like 4 years now. And then you're saying Hickman's coming to DC. That's crazy. I mean, you might just like, that's insane. I don't know if that comes true, man. That's crazy. If he doesn't take editor in chief, but okay. So at Marvel, so editor in chief at Marvel, if CB Belusky or whatever his name is not retiring. Interesting, dude. And then Family TCG says, I'm the same Seth Tech, started this year and haven't bought any singles, all buses and trades. If you're down that route and you don't worry about picking up new single issues, it's a good route to be on, just being a collected edition. For me, though, I just hate that everything's late, right? Like you're coming into, like when this isn't a trade, like this Nightwing issue, you're talking in 8 months. You know what I mean? Like you're talking, like this thing will literally be in a trade in like more than 4 months, right? So that's kind of crazy to me. But I get it if you like to binge read and stuff like that. it makes sense being a collected edition reader. It's all up to you, man. Some people look at this and they say $5 and you just read it and you're done. You know, what's up with that? I get that too. I get that too. Let's see. Fire HQ. Oh, that concludes the comic book reviews, guys.